Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I'm, of course, Hickory the Drunk and Underwhelming. Welcome to special edition of Hickory Reacts. Today on the channel, I'm going to be briefly talking about my Lasik surgery. It's been about a month now. I figured I had a good post view on it. I'm seeing in 2020. It's definitely looking up. Oh, God, there's so many bad puns. Anyways, so yes, I decided I had Lasik in November. I believe it was November 5th or November 6th. 2021. I'm filming this on December 13th, 2021, and it'll be up sometime in the next week or so. But yeah, so basically, backstory is I'm a 34-year-old magician from Vermont. I do have a muggle job, but I do a lot of random YouTube content, and the channel's doing all right. However, I had decided, I've been wearing glasses since about fourth grade. So most of my life, all of my adult life, I have been wearing contacts. I got contacts in sixth grade, I believe is when that happened. So I would wear contacts for shows and intermittently for special occasions and stuff, but they were really expensive. And had decided both of my parents had gotten LASIK years ago and had a great time, and I had always wanted it and just kept putting it off, and eventually I decided this year, during the pandemic, that if I wanted a chance at getting this done, I needed to get it done soon, and I wanted it to be done and over with. So I believe it was November 5th. It was a Friday. I went to a place called the Lasik Vision Institute in Burlington, Massachusetts. It's about 3 hours south of Vermont, 2.5 hours south of Vermont. And they have a great little clinic there where the doctors, all they do is LASIK and PRK all day, every day, and they move around different locations, perform surgery, so they only do Fridays there. So Friday was my surgery date. I didn't take any medication beforehand. Some other people were offered Valium, I suppose, to calm down, which it did. I watched one guy looking like he had legs like a metal drummer going to perfectly calm in the waiting room. And to be quite frank, the only time I had any type of anxiety about the whole thing didn't start until I was in the waiting room and the last person before me went in. And as soon as it was me and the one person that showed up late after me to go, that was when I started to become a little bit anxious. Before then, the entire situation was completely surreal, and it didn't really feel like it was real. I did have to go down for an intake. I did that. I went down. It probably took like 2 hours. They did all sorts of testing, realized that I have really crappy vision. I was at 2400, which means I could read the big E on the chart thing. I could just read the big E. I couldn't read anything else without my glasses on at the time. And so after that, I set up my appointment at a time that worked, which was early November. So I'd be healed up before Thanksgiving because that's a big day at the muggle job. And so, yeah, November 5th, I got up early. I think we were up at like 6 or 7 in the morning. No alcohol the night before. They'd say to limit caffeine, eat a meal before you go. Ate a little bit, not too much. We drove down. I went in. They said hi. I paid for it ahead of time. They gave me some booties, so I put some booties and a hairnet on, and then they gave me a bag with some sunglasses and some shields, which I'll explain after. And then I went back into the waiting room. They did one final test that they didn't get to the first time I was there to make sure everything was good. I was cool to go, so I went back to the waiting room where I was joined by, I joined 3 other individuals. There was a lady and two guys back there, and the 2 guys were very, very anxious, and they had been prescribed Valium, and the lady had not, and we were just kind of chilling there. At that point, the doctor came out, kind of described the entire procedure. They put some numbing drops in each of our eyes. A nurse came around and then iodined the area just directly around the eye to make sure everything was clean. And there we sat, and then they started calling people in. Now, I have pulled up a video of an actual LASIK procedure going on, and we're going to watch through this real quick. I'm probably not going to show the real cringy part because I'm sure it's going to really make me squirm, and I don't really want to do that. But this is, I grabbed this video. This is a real-time, uncut, unedited LASIK procedure live with real sound, and I'll explain to the best of my ability what's going on here.
30 seconds you won't even know it's there, as strange as it feels at first.
So this is basically have you lay down on a table. There's a little donut for your head to go into, and you go back into the machine with both eyes open, obviously no glasses on, and they put a little thing like from A Clockwork Orange in your eye, and it's a speculum, I guess, and it kind of holds the eye open so that even if you were trying to blink, you could not.
Straight there, just slowly bringing you closer. In the center there, you'll start to see that there's a green flashing light.
So with mine, there was 5 or 6 yellow lights and then a green light in the center. The green light is the actual laser. The others are just for orientation, I believe.
Green light. I'm going to bring it nice and close, and I'm going to make it go sharp. And when it goes sharp, you look straight at it, and you feel that little pushing on the eye for about 20 seconds. Nice and steady, right at the green light there, nice and steady, little pushing like that. Breathing gently, holding steady. Perfect. Now, if the light shifts, don't follow it, just look straight past it, out into infinity, breathing gently, holding steady. That's perfect, beautiful, excellent, super. All fuzzy, just memorize where you're looking, nice and steady, that's perfect, perfect, and we'll take the pressure off. Fantastic.
Okay, so this one's a little bit different than the way they did it with me. With the suction that I had on my eye, there is a thing about this big around that goes, sets on the eye. It's like its own little separate machine. It wasn't part of the laser that they used to correct the vision. Now, this thing just sat there and it suctioned, and it created a fairly uncomfortable feeling around the entire eye socket. It didn't hurt. I was very, very numb from all the drops, and they kept applying drops the entire time. Most of the time during the surgery, it looked like I was underwater. That's how many drops were in my eyes. But they put the thing around my eye, and it suctioned in, and so I assume it keeps your eye out just a little bit. And then they direct you where to look, and it was down and to the left a little bit, but not too far down and left. And then you hear the machine fire, and it basically there's a laser inside the suction-y thing that cuts the flap for you, which I'm pretty sure is what this machine just did.
Super. Excellent. I'm going to just take this out for you. That's great. And close the eyes. That's super. So that's the hard part. So as you see, even the hard part is very, very easy.
Yep, this is completely different than they did, because it definitely did not take the speculum out of my eye until after the actual LASIK was already done.
MOS. Super. Okay, a little tape on here. We'll just take the tape off. Tilt your head over to this side. And just resting there, we'll take the tape off on this side. And just as you are there, a little extra drop here. And you're looking towards the circle there. A little eyelid holder here. Everything's exactly the same. The only difference is that people think they're feeling a little bit more on the second eye just because you're expecting everything. Everything's exactly the same. You're looking towards the...
Okay, so they're going to be doing that again. What was different for me was that they cut the flap for one eye and then did the correction for that eye, and then covered it, put the shield on it, and then did the other one. So let's see.
Super. And just close the eyes and just rest here. I'll leave you here with Susie for about a minute. Okay.
Yeah, this is absolutely completely different than the scenario I had, except I assume that... I assume that here we are going to... are we going to a separate... Like, is it 2 separate machines that they have? No, they got some good camera angles on this, though. Are they... Now, the eyes were closed, so was that just a machine test? Like, I'm confused as to what's happening.
Okay, super.
Okay.
Tape on here.
So for me, it was one thing I was underneath, which was the vision correction machine, and then they brought over the suctiony thing that went on my face. So this video is different from my experience, but figured this would at least give me a reference point.
That's right. That's beautiful, little extra drop there. Now you're just looking straight ahead here. There's another white circle, another green flashing light. You're just looking straight ahead there. Little eyelid holder here, keep looking
Yep,
straight.
they never removed it and put it back in. This is very
Beautiful.
strange, although it seems like
Just as you
10
are.
minutes. This LASIK took me 12 minutes into the surgery room and out of the surgery room. So this video will last longer than my surgery did.
Very nice and steady. Very good. Little push in here. Nice. Right. Perfect.
They also, I don't believe they marked my
Really
eye.
Nice and steady. That's beautiful.
Okay, that's the part that bugs me out. Now, what he's doing right there is he's about to, yep,
Towards this flashing.
that is the flap. So that is where the laser cut a circle around the area there, and then he is going to. Oh, he's already got it peeled back.
Super. Just relax.
Right.
The center of the
Yep.
flash.
No, that is the laser going. So this laser was like 6 seconds.
Perfect.
You are continuing to stare directly into a green light above you that you can barely see, because once that flap is lifted, you are blurry as hell. And no matter how poor your vision was ahead of time, you can't see anything then. So that flap is up, and it goes for about 6 seconds. Now, the worst part of the entire thing, other than the fact that by the time they got halfway through I-1, I didn't know if I was going to make it. Not that I was scared. I had an overwhelming anxiety that just I couldn't shake it. Like after the first one, he said, okay, that's good. We're going to move on to the second one. Do you have any questions? And I was like, yeah, how did I do? And they were like, you did really, really well. How are you feeling? And I just looked at them and I said, anxious as F. And I'm sorry for swearing in your office. This is a professional establishment. I don't mean to be that dude. And they were just like, no, it's fine. You're going through it. It's easy, but it's not mentally easy. And I was like, okay. And the second eye, just like they said earlier in this video, the second eye did feel worse than the first one, but it's because I knew it was coming. I knew what to expect. I was very glad when it was over.
Perfect.
So this is the laser firing. The entire time that laser was firing, all I could smell was burning hair. And I don't know if that's literally something in my corner, like in my eye burning, or that's something that the laser does and it's just like a weird reaction. But that was definitely the situation, is that I could smell burning hair the entire time.
Excellent. Super. Perfect. 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 Fantastic. Excellent.
Yeah, and that was literally about it. 6 or 7 seconds of laser time, and I had awful vision.
And just as you are there, keep looking straight. It's beautiful.
He's going to put some more drops in, and then move the flap back over.
Super.
Put a few more drops in, have them close their eyes.
Close the eye. That's super. Excellent. Tape on here. Great. And I'm just going to take the tape off.
Okay, I didn't have any tape. So what they did next was they took a plastic shield and put the plastic shield over my eye. They kind of go like this. They're a round piece with a pointy part. And they put it over there and then taped it on. But what they did was they taped it to my mask, since I was wearing a mask since I had this done in 2021 in November. Obviously, we're still mask wearing in populated areas. And so they taped my shields to my mask. So not only did I get the pleasure of going through this whole thing, and now it's great. At the time, it was a little nerve-wracking. Now I'm out in the car. I can, your eyes, you don't have perfect vision. Okay, I assume some people have perfect vision the second they walk out. I did not. My eyes were a little bit swollen and watery, so I didn't have great vision. Plus, I'm looking through lenses, super light sensitive for the first little bit. So I've got sunglasses on over those, and now I'm sitting in the back. Luckily, my parents were kind enough to drive me and the wife down so that neither of us had to navigate back, because I don't think the beautiful assistant entirely trusts herself driving back from populated areas in Mass. Anyways, sitting in the back of the parents' car, I've now got to navigate taking my mask down while unsticking my lens, so that once we get some food, I can get some food before I go back home. So now what they do is they suggest that once you have the LASIK done, that you go home, you take a nap for 4 or 5 hours to let them heal. not opening much. You do need to wear sunglasses for like your first 2 days indoors and outdoors. And then they recommend, just like everybody should wear sunglasses when they're outside for longer than 15 minutes, you should wear sunglasses for when you're outside for more than 15 minutes. But the first couple days, definitely wear sunglasses inside. Heavy drop application. You're doing medicated drops 4 times a day. They're an antibiotic and a steroid drop to help healing and ward off infections. Staying hydrated, super important. Also, not lifting anything heavy for about a week. Not rubbing your eyes. So the first week out, you have to wear shields over your eyes when you're sleeping. And just like the ones you get during surgery, you put them on and then you medical tape them, which caused crazy issues with my eyebrows for a little while, where I had to like seriously moisturize often because they were getting like really raw and flaky. And at one point I actually had, I think it's gone now, but I had a little piece of scarring over here from tearing off medical tape back when I was still wearing shields. And they also give you a shower guard that you need to keep over your eyes. Not that you can't get water in your eyes, but they don't want you rubbing your eyes. And the shower and sleeping seem to be the 2 times where you're most likely to rub your eyes. Therefore, you wear shields. Medicated drops 4 times a day, and then regular non-medicated single vial drops like 8 to 10 times a day or as needed. That comes down over time. I found that I stayed really hard on the drops for the first week, and then as the second week went, I dropped down from like 8 times a day to 6, and then the next week it was 4 times a day, and the next week it was 3, and the next week it was 2, and now I do drops once or twice a day depending if I need them or not. It also helps in times where I'm outside for a long time, where especially now we're hitting December, it is getting it's a little dry out and dry inside the house. So staying hydrated is important to keep the eyes hydrated for this, but definitely droplets, eye drops help. And the single vials are what they suggest because they're the least likely for you to, get bacteria or contaminants on and then put directly in your eye, which would be bad. So overall, LASIK surgery wrap up, absolutely phenomenal. Please answer questions. If there's enough, I'll do a Q&A. And if not, I will just answer your questions down there in the comment section. But I just wanted to put out a brief video to talk about LASIK and kind of get the thoughts and feelings off my chest. Last thing I will say is when I mentioned the anxiety earlier, and that the most anxiety I've ever had was laying on that table while they were doing the actual surgery. And as soon as he said you can close your eyes and he taped the shields on, they said, the table's going to move. Once the table stops, you can set up and open your eyes. And literally as soon as he said that, just this wave of emotion, like it felt like I was touched by a higher being. No joke. Like it was the most spiritual thing I've ever felt. And the emotion just poured over me and I started to cry and laugh and smile, and I didn't know how to react. And they just said, have a great day. Thank you. And I said, thank you so much. I will really, really appreciate this for the rest of my life. And I walked out of there with tears streaming down my face, managed to make it to the restroom, and then went out to the car and had to navigate getting and of course I'm super paranoid as I'm trying to get the shield unstuck from my mask because I don't want to touch my eye. But I went back 3 weeks later. I had a post-op checkup the following Monday. Went back, things looked good, and then she wanted a 3-week post-op. So I went down 3 weeks post-op. Everything was fine. I have 20/20 vision. She said my flaps are healed enough that I don't have to worry about rubbing my eyes. They said not to rub your eyes because it can change the shape of them, which will then change your prescription and is not good for you. They said I can touch them, and that if something is going to hit me hard enough to open that flap up, that I have bigger issues than the flap, because that means I will have taken trauma in some manner. So awesome 20/20 vision. Thank you, LASIK Vision Institute. Just wanted to give a few of my opinions on it. Please let me know what you think down in the comments and leave me questions, and I might do a Q&A if enough people are interested. And yeah, that's all I got on this one. I am Course Hickory, the Drunk on Underwhelming. Thank you guys for checking out the video. And if you want to see me react to other things or want to see other content that's not LASIK related, like 99.999% of my content, go check it out on the channel or leave a suggestion down below. I will see you guys in the next one. Drunk Magician out. Cheers.